Hey guys, today we're going to talk about the first part of Chapter 5, major scales and key signatures. So the most important thing I want you to know right now and to memorize and to say a million times is whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Okay? W is for whole. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Okay? That's the major scale formula. Say it right now again. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Any of my students, previous students in any of my in-person theory classes know that's something you will absolutely know by the end of the class. I ask it on every test because if you know that, you know how to do a major scale no matter what. Okay? What that means is it's the sequence of whole and half steps in a major scale. So let's talk about what a major scale is. A scale is a sequence of notes moving in stepwise motion, so moving up and down the piano, beginning and ending on the same note. A major scale is pretty familiar to us. Let me play you a B-flat major scale. So we started on B-flat, and then we end on the B-flat up an octave. If you want, you can use solfege on that, which we talk about in the book. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So you can sing along. No one can hear you. I can't hear you. Try it now. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. I always say that if I can sing it, then you guys can sing it because I'm not a singer. Okay, so let's do that then. Let's use that formula and make a scale. I chose B flat major. So what I'm going to do first is put the note B flat. Then I'm not going to worry about flats and sharps. I'm just going to put the rest of the notes walking up in stepwise motion. So what's the note after B flat or a B, whatever? That's right. C, D, E, F, G, A, and then we're back to B flat. Okay? So I always do just the notes, no flats or sharps, except if it's the key is B flat, then you have to put B flat. Then I put numbers underneath. That's the second step. Step 2 is numbers, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then I go back to 1 because it's not a new note, it's the same one, so 7 to 1, okay? Then I check to see if from B flat is a whole step, from C to D is a whole step, is D to E a half step? Is E to F a whole step? F to G a whole step? G to A a whole step? And then A to B flat should be a half step. So let's check. Let's use my not computer, my piano and your keyboard. You can use the keyboard PDF that I gave you. Okay. So let's look here. B flat to C. Let's see that. B flat to C. That looks like a whole step to me, right? There's a note in between. Good. Don't have to do anything to it. C to D. That looks like a whole step to me. Okay? Now, this has to be a half step, D to E. It's not a half step. There's a black note in between. So what do we have to do to the top note, E? We have to flat it and make it E flat. Okay? So let me do that. Always the top note, because you can't change the bottom notes because then it affects the things that happened before. Good. D to E flat is a half step. E flat to F is a whole step. F to G is a whole step. G to A is a whole step. A to B flat, that's a half step. So it works out. So our major scale, B flat major, has 2 different flats. It has 3 altogether because there's a B flat and B flat, but it has 2 different flats, B flat and E flat, okay? So if we're just writing the scale out, it would look like that, okay? B flat major. And we can do this with sharps or flats. Let's do a sharp key, okay? One more example, sharp key. I'm going to do it in bass clef, okay? So here's bass clef. How about we do let's do E major, okay? I know that's a sharp key. You don't know that's a sharp key. So we're going to figure it out. So E major, I want you to do. So what's the first thing we do? Put an E here. in bass clef. And then we go from E to E with notes. E, F, G, A, B, C, D. Got some ledger lines up there. That looks a little tricky. E. We went from E to E. Then, what's the next step? Numbers. That's right. I'm going to put them above. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Then, the final step is the whole half step formula. Whole, half, whole, half. So, from E to F has to be a whole step. Let's check it out. Not a whole step, see? It's a half step. So what do we have to do to F to make it a whole step? That's right, we make it F sharp. We have to raise it a half step. Good. F sharp to G needs to be a whole step. Right now, it's a half step. So what do we have to do to G? Make it a sharp, G sharp. G sharp to A needs to be a half step. Look, it is. Great. A to B needs to be a whole step, and it is. B to C needs to be a whole step, and right now it's just a half step. So we have to raise C, make it C sharp. C sharp to D needs to be a whole step. It's not, so we have to raise D and make it D sharp. And then D sharp to E needs to be a half step, and it is. So E major has 1, 2, 3, 4 different sharps. Okay, so we've done a major key in flats, B flat major, and we've done a major key in sharps, E major. Okay, now that we've done that, I want to talk about the order of sharps and the order of flats. So let me show you what I mean. Let's use a different paper. Now we have something called key signatures. Key signatures is a bunch of flats or a bunch of sharps in the beginning of a piece of music that tells you what key you're in. So remember, in B flat major, we figured out that major key had 2 flats. So instead of doing a whole piece of music where you have to put in the flats by hand each time, you can do what we call a key signature in the beginning that will include B flat and E flat, and it'll just say that in the beginning, and then that tells us, the performers, that any B we play has to be flatted, and any E we play will be flatted as well. Same thing with sharps. Instead of having to write out 1, 2, 3, 4 sharps every time these notes come up, we'll just put those 4 sharps in the beginning of the piece, and that tells us we're in E major. That means we're going to have those 4 sharps the whole piece. Okay? So I'll show you what that looks like. The order of flats in any key signature looks like this. And we do it on this page, okay? It's B, E, A, D, G, C, F. So you can make up a sentence for that and memorize it, or whatever is easiest for you. That's the order of flats, okay? That's all. This is all in the textbook. B, G, C, F. And it looks like this in treble clef. B, E, A, D, G, C, F. So I would definitely recommend copying those order of flats down. They have to be in this exact location for treble clef. The order of sharps is just flats backwards. F, C, G, D, A, E, B. And that is F, C, G, D, A, E, B. So these sharps and these flats always go in this order. So if I told you we have 2 flats in a key signature, it has to be B flat and E flat. And that would be B flat major, which is what we just did. If I told you we had 2 sharps in a key signature, it would have to be F sharp and C sharp. If I told you we had 4 sharps in a key signature, like we did in E major, it would be F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and D sharp. And you know what? That is exactly right. That's what we have here. So the sharps always go in a certain order, and the flats always go in a certain order. You can never have one flat and have that flat be F or G or something. It's always, if you have one flat, it's going to be B flat. That's the nice thing, so you know what to expect. Okay? So order of flats, order of sharps. So the key signature for B flat major would look like this. 2 flats, B flat, and E flat. The key signature for E major would look like, let me get you a different piece of paper, would look like this. Let's do treble clef, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp. Great. Get to work.